the presenter's view?
We can see the full screen.
The full screen, perfect. All right, okay. Okay, but then thank you everyone for having joined this info session of the Smart Cities Marketplace. Notably, the Smart Cities Marketplace is a much larger project than what I'm going to present to you today, which is going to be focused on the matchmaking services. So before we begin with the program, a bit of heads up on the agenda. So there will be a presentation that I will keep within maybe 20 minutes, 25 minutes maximum. You are welcome to ask questions. You don't need to wait for me to give you the floor. If you have a question, feel free, since we are not very many, to just take the floor, and then we can address your questions. Whenever you do, please kindly repeat your name, the organization or city you come from, and country. And also you can switch on your camera and microphone, of course, so that we can hear and see what you say. The event, as Luisa mentioned, will be recorded. The presentation that I'm sharing will also be then sent to you by email. I think in the registration you share with us the email. If you want to have it delivered to a different address, feel free to mention it in the chat. I think the only other piece of information I have to give you is that the event will last 1 hour. So after the presentation, we will have plenty of room for additional discussions. Okay, so is it fine with everyone? Do you already have anything specifically that you would like to say? Okay, I don't see any hands raised, but then I will begin. So, what is the Smart Cities Marketplace? It is one of the many initiatives that the European Union has launched to make the EU Green Deal real. And notably, to contribute to achieve the ambitious target of making of Europe the first climate neutral continent by 2050. It was indeed, and it is. You read about it every day in the newspapers or on TV. A challenge for all of us. There are a lot of interests, a lot of needs, a lot of resources that are moving to achieve that or against that objective. The agreement, however, politically is sound, and there are targets that are binding with regards to the progressive reduction of the emissions, and also investments. Huge investments have been made available through different products by the European Union at the European level to basically transition towards net zero. And in this process, obviously, who is already more advanced would have an advantage. That's why also it is important to embed into this huge change, epochal change that we are trying to provoke, the element of justice, so that no one, citizens or territories, are left behind. A lot is being done by cities and companies as well, but science tells us that this is not proceeding at the required pace or scale. So we need to do more. We need to do it faster. So this is basically the key message. To respond to that, the Smart Cities Marketplace has been designed to to accelerate the efforts that cities and city-led consortia, including also private companies and academia and other stakeholders, are doing to contribute to achieve these targets. Why does it make sense to start on cities? Well, first of all, because most of the European population of us live in cities, and you see the statistics in the slide. Also because that's where the pollution is created. So most of the pollution comes from urban areas, and that's also where most of the investments can take place to reduce, to abate those emissions, or most of them. The barriers to climate neutrality are indeed several ones, otherwise we would have already succeeded. The first of is lack of funding, or lack of adequate funding, or lack of adequate financing schemes. So this is a recurring item that in a recent survey carried out on more than 100 cities, 65% of the respondents said being the first problem. Then there is the lack of knowledge or skills. We don't know how to do it. We don't know how to go green. Then there is also sometimes the willingness, the money is available in a city, for instance. There is knowledge how to launch a procurement, but maybe the technical knowledge about how to choose the right solution for the city is missing, even if you know that in the area of urban sustainable mobility, for instance, there are different options, and you know that that's an area you need to invest into. It is difficult sometimes to understand what are the benefits, what are these benefits, what business model is sounder for you, given your specificities. There is sometimes a fragmentation of responsibilities. So this is at the level of governance. Sometimes the financial means are allocated at the national level and the action is required at the local level, or the other way around. There is a disconnection between the strategy and the actions. And sometimes it is difficult to cooperate with the private sector for cities, and likewise the other way around. Because of not having enough instruments to dialogue, for instance, like there exist in public procurement for particularly complex projects, financially complex or technically complex, where there is a pre-procurement phase where, for instance, the procurement authority, notably a city, can engage in a pre-procurement phase, so before awarding the contract with a number of companies and together design, let's say, the solution for the city. So giving both the businesses and the city a way to better understand each other and to better develop a fit-for-purpose solution. So what does it mean to support cities? It means to help them mobilize their own resources, financial resources, but also to access additional means, financial means, to invest into what they need and what is needed. So this is absolutely important, also because the experts, there are several studies having corroborated this fact. With only public funding, so only with grants, if you like, the targets embedded in the European Green Deal will not be achieved. There are like a lot more resources that need to come from other sources, and that is why financing shall become an option. Sometimes there are also the need to enable a city from the legal point of view. Again, addressing the issue of the fragmentation of responsibilities, so that the decision-making power is where the decisions need to be taken, or that there is a good governance multi-level. So the cooperation between national, regional, and the local level, with the European one, obviously, is smooth. People need to be mobilized. They need to understand also as citizens what they need to change. Why, if an investment is done in a given direction, is for their own benefits in terms of increased health, for instance, or in terms of increased quality of the air, etc. And this also means having them on board in projects where they need to take up what the public authorities can do. And then also, especially for small and medium-sized cities, it is important to have leadership and the capacity to aggregate themselves with others to be have a larger critical mass, which is key also when, for instance, discussing about the financing with an investor. And obviously, it is important to adjust to change because the scenario is always evolving, and it is important to be open to and well equipped to interact with this change. All of this is something that the smart cities marketplace, with the means that it has, helps cities to overcome. Notably, the initiative informs about what has been done and what can be done to become climate neutral, sustainable, and inclusive. These three go more and more together because the mantra was before cities must be smart. Now, not necessarily smart is climate neutral enough. So there was an accent put on this, and also on the fact of whatever investment needing to be inclusive for also aligning to the principle of the just transition. The focus, although the initiative is very inclusive to all cities, but there is a particular preference for small and medium-sized cities, so those with up to 100,000 inhabitants. Why? Because they are the majority, and because they're not necessarily as well served or offered solutions by other initiatives. So this is a bit of a complementarity area. And still, they have a lot of purchasing power, and that's why the Smart Cities Marketplace has been designed specifically also to support them, and I will explain you in a second why and how. We, with the matchmaking team, help cities and consortia shape their projects or invest in projects that are already there to scale them up or to replicate them in three main areas: clean energy, sustainable mobility, and then digital solutions and applications for climate neutrality. As I said, the Smart Cities Marketplace is very complementary to a lot of other initiatives that you have certainly heard of already. In the areas of building and energy, for instance, you see on the left side of the slide, starting from Renovation Wave and Celsius, but also the European City Facility, the new European Bauhaus, and others, what we are complementary to. The Covenant of Companies for climate and energy, the Covenant of Mayors, the Net Zero Cities, Scalable Cities, in the area of digital and mobility, respectively, Living in the EU and the Intelligent Cities Challenge, and then Civitas. Complementarity means that ideally you don't even need to remember the name of this Smart Cities Marketplace as such, but you need to know that we are there to listen to your needs. And then if we can find a solution for your needs within the environment of the Smart Cities Marketplace initiative, we will do. Otherwise, we can redirect you to any of the initiatives that I mentioned, which are better suited for, assisting you, okay? What are the key components of the Smart Cities Marketplace? Well, first of all, it's a place where you find a very rich collection of tested material and the inspiring examples of projects, or even opinion papers and solution booklets on how to make your city climate neutral. It is also a safe place where you can exchange about concretely about initiatives, about solutions, about projects, about cooperation, and meet with peers that are willing to then engage more actively into an investment. It's also a process where we support you to accelerate your ongoing investment or starting investments in climate neutrality. And then also there is a place where you can join groups of peers to discuss and also contribute to more strategic discussion, let's say, in our focus and discussion groups, which are very thematic. We also have a growing network of investors. We have now 18, and you see some of the names here. Why is having this network important? Because it is let's say, a resource for you to access financing, regardless of the geography, regardless of the type of product that you need, regardless of the size of the investment you are considering. One or more of the investors in our network would be able to provide you with an option. And all of them have joined the investor network, our network, by obviously sharing with us some information about what they're going to look into to assess a request for financing. And as an initiative, we carry out a pre-feasibility, if you like, assessment of your projects to make sure that when you have an idea, a project idea, and you submit it to us, and we help you address the gaps, once the work is done, the project is of investment grade status, so mature enough to be fruitfully assessed by one of those investors. And we also facilitate a meeting with them. So if obviously there is the need for it and the demand for it. It's quite unique, this service. But that's not the only thing we do. We also provide free of charge technical assistance. Actually, all the services that I'm going to talk about are free of charge to help you address financial, technical, legal, and also governance related gaps you may have in your project. We don't have an infinite number of days to deploy, but we can assemble a team when there are specific requirements that are met, a team that comes even to your place in your native language and helps you overcome those gaps. That's why you see here that you would receive a personalized project support. It is also important to stress, as you see in the slide, that the personalization includes your not only your need, but also your interest and capacity, because you may have a need, but you may not have an interest because it addressing that because this is not your priority, or you may not have a lot of capacity to give us the details to help us, for instance, improve your investment plan or your business model or your project as a whole. So basically, we are going to be very much listening to you and trying to understand with our teams what is that you want to do, what is that you need, what is the capacity that you have to work with us, and then accordingly agree with you on how to move forward. We already spoke about the access to funding and financing that is facilitated by the initiative, which is quite massive, and also a lot of networking opportunities with cities, technical providers, other stakeholders to discuss concretely about projects. And investors also come at our events. You see in the slides basically also how you can learn from peers and all the phases, let's say, of our process. The services that we have are matchmaking events, so it's online or in person, where cities, consortia led by cities and investors can meet, and then the program varies. We have 4 every year. We have also master classes dedicated to help you strengthen the financing understanding of a project. So how to make it bankable, how to make it affordable, how to make it feasible, how to work on the business model, notably the CapEx or OpEx aspects of the quantification of those types of costs. How to calculate the revenues if it's a project that is revenue generating. We have thematic webinars on the latest topics. Recently, we had two, if I'm not mistaken, on digital applications and hydrogen as well for the decarbonization of a city. And another one, again, on hydrogen, very much at the center for sustainable mobility. The one-to-one consultancy services, I already mentioned to you this before, basically a tailored team of experts coming to your, supporting your city. The peer-to-peer exchanges is even when you know what you want and you have defined your project, you may still want to, before starting, let's say, the implementation or completing the implementation or doing the investment, you want to hear from someone else who has done the same so that you can adjust. And this also we can help you happen. And the deal meetings with investors I already discussed before. So we organize once the project is mature enough, a meeting with them. I'm going to give you now an example of how in a beneficiary of the Smart Cities Marketplace, who did a very interesting journey, an inspiring journey. They managed to go from the level of engagement. So we agree we need to contribute to climate neutrality at national level, and then how to make it happen, how to translate these into concrete investments at local level. So Poland, we're talking about hydrogen generation and use here, but there can be many other examples on sustainable buildings, positive energy districts. It can be mobility. But with regards to this example, in Poland launched a strategy on hydrogen at national level, including the need to increase the fleet of hydrogen buses, and also obviously the supporting infrastructure, the refueling station that you see here. And the city of Bydgoszcz, it's a medium-sized city, between 100,000 and 300,000 inhabitants, were already signatories of the Covenant of Mayors since 2011. So they basically agreed to more than contribute to the targets of emissions reductions, and had received funding in the form of a grant from the European Union City Facility to start shaping their projects. They came to us last year, I think it was, with a request for help to refine their project that was aiming at producing photovoltaic energy from 10 mini stations, combined to the production of hydrogen for basically running 16 buses that for public transportation. So it is an integrated project of a value of the investment of about 52 million euros. To achieve basically the energy generation capacity that you see indicated in the slide, and a significant target emission reduction. They had the need to receive assistance to identify what were the best solutions for their specific city, their specific territory, their specific urban infrastructure. They wanted to understand how to choose basically between the many options they were considering. They wanted to get some examples of best practice to check, with quantitative comparisons, what could have worked best for them. And also inputs regarding financing options to find the means, let's say, to implement the demonstration project that they had already finalized. And we are about now to finish the assistance with them successfully, with this technical assistance agreement that you see here, that all of our beneficiaries that reached that stage will agree to do. So it's refined in a very cooperative way. To date, some statistics are that we have supported more than 130 project proposals of a value of about 670 million euros. Now, if you want to apply to our services, you can use simply this QR code that you see in the slide. Who can apply? Cities, but also city-led consortia, which means that if you are a business, you can still apply, but then you will need to have a city that endorses your investment. Also, investors can apply. So this is actually, as you see, quite an inclusive way. What happens after you submit your application that you access through this QR code is that you have to go through a survey, which will require some information. The survey is relatively user-friendly, and you will only be asked to answer to the questions that you have information about. So you don't need to have all the details about the quantification of the indicators or of the impacts or of the risk, etc., or of the business model, but it will be a good start for us to understand where you are, and then get back to you in a second step with questions for clarifications after we do the assessment, and also suggestions, and until we fine-tune basically the support. This is the link you will have in the slides to the application form. You can see an image of our website. Everything is on our website. If you go on it, it's smartcitiesmarketplace.eu. Luisa can maybe kindly put it in the chat. And there is a tab Matchmaking in the center of the banner of the pane that gives you access to the call for application, which is always open. So you can click basically and submit your concept note, which is your project idea. You need to identify yourself, describe your project idea with the details that you possess, indicate where the project is going to be implemented, who is going to be involved, if there is any link to any previous strategic frameworks of initiatives like the Covenant of Mayors or Interreg or others. You have to need to have at some stage, but relatively early, a letter of commitment from a city representative, so that we can see that the project is endorsed by a public authority. And then you will have to make a self-assessment of the level of maturity of your project idea. To help you with that, because we are always the best at doing everything, but then it becomes difficult for us to compare, we have set up a document, a tool. It's a self-assessment tool, which you can download on Excel. You can download from the website. There is the link there as well. And by answering to a series of questions, then you get immediately, as you see in the bottom right corner of the snapshot, what is your project maturity level. And this is a document you can download, and this information you can put, if you like, on the survey. You don't need to do that, but it's, let's say, facilitation of your work. You need to remember to activate the macros when you do that, because otherwise not all the Excel file works properly. And then if you have this information, you will be asked, obviously, every tiny detail. But if you don't, it's not an issue. There is a guidance document to complement the information you will receive today in this info session, which is more complete and gives you directions regarding every part of the application form. And we have a help desk, so you can contact us by email, through the website. We receive an email on our functional box, and we get back to you as soon as possible with the answer. To inspire you, I mentioned already the solution booklets that we have on our website. They give you access to a wealth of knowledge, a very broad range of experiences about projects, about initiatives, about trends. So you can really be inspired if you look into this, regardless if you have a project or not. It is really worthwhile to check. We also have a wiki. We have also a gallery of previous events that you can check our recordings or on a specific topic of your interest. So it's really interesting for you to go there. One last message that I will want to give you before I would open the floor for your questions is that the projects that we aim for, that this marketplace as itself is designed to support best, are those that are not cutting edge. So not the research for a solution in that is not already yet identified, but is more for off the shelf, as they're called. So it is, we know what we want, it is almost ready, and we need to accelerate to boost you, to help you in the last mile, let's say, of the project to succeed with the implementation and the achievement and production of impacts and results. So I think on this, I will stop in the slide that you will receive, sorry, that you will receive. There will be also additional information on our Knowledge Hub that I mentioned something about today and other things, and all the links to connect to us also on social media. But I would like to stop now the presentation and see if you have any questions or any projects or any doubts that I may help you with addressing today. So let's see. Monica, you're welcome. I mean, happy to be of help. I see your message here. And is there, thank you so much for commenting. Is there anything that you think would be useful for you to know?
Yes, thank you very much for this information. It was very useful, at least for our work at the Budapest Enterprise Agency in Hungary. And I just wonder, when we need to upload a project idea, do we need to already include information about potential partners, or you can support us to find the most reliable and the most proper partners, or how does it work? How deep we need to go into the project material?
Yes, this is
when we upload the idea. Thanks.
This is a good question, Monica. Thank you so much. So also for breaking the ice. So yes, we can help. I guess the application will come from a business. It is important that some cities are on board relatively early on. It is important that the project idea is as clear as possible. So if there is an application, and we have received some like that also, saying we would like to do something about climate neutrality. This is a bit too vague for us to be of help. If the question is, I would like to have developed vertical parking solutions in a given city, I'm interested as a business. I'm interested in, for instance, in the Netherlands. I'm interested in replicating this in Hungary because I know that there is demand, or the other way around. But I would like to know with whom I shall speak. Then maybe this can be something we can help you with as well. If you already have a city and you need an investor, I already mentioned earlier, we can help you with identifying an investor as well. If the project is already done and you need the financing, obviously, this is also after we carry out our assessment, a facilitation that we can provide in principle. If you are, but the more precise, obviously, you are with your request, the better. In every case, when you apply, and if we find that there are some gaps in your application, we get back to you and we invite you to provide additional details or clarifications within, I think it is 10 working days, more or less. So you have plenty of time to check, and then you can always reapply, even if you, at the moment, you don't have enough information. So it is quite, as I said, inclusive and service minded.
Thanks.
You're very welcome, Monica. Let's see if there is any question from someone else. Costantino found it clear. Thank you, Constantinos. And you have no questions. I don't know, Joshua, if you have any questions or if you have any projects you are working on at the moment that may be interesting for a discussion here.
I'll have to get back to you. We'll have to first talk to the cities. But this does seem very interesting. We'll definitely probably apply. So thank you for all the information. I currently don't have any questions. It's very clear. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joshua. George, I'm trying to see if everyone is happy. George, can you hear me? Yes.
Yes. Well, my intention here was just to make clear what this marketplace is about. So this presentation really helped me. One of the things I was asking to me now is that should the projects they can be open. I mean, these must not be solution-oriented projects, or should this be a solution-oriented projects in the way that there is a clear output, or should this not be really like that? And proposals can go to governance, also can be governance related, can be more, let's say, soft topics and not really a solution-oriented project. I don't know if I make clear the question.
Yes. It is very clear. Thank you, George, and also good question, and thank you for asking. So, because this gives me the chance to, address also this aspect. And another one that is also important for Monica to know, and everyone else. So, the Smart Cities Marketplace is agnostic with regards to the technologies or the projects. So basically you can come and propose whatever you want. It's not that we have a preference, that we like it green or red. I mean, yes, we like it green, meaning climate neutral oriented, but it must not be, we don't have a preference in terms of renewables or in terms of technologies or in terms of type of stakeholders, as long as there is a city on board. So the eligibility criteria are really kept to a minimum. It must be the project, the applicant, located in a EU member state, preferably. The objective of the project must be clear, as I said to Monica before. There must be an idea of which partners you think you're going to involve. And you must have an idea of what the timing, let's say, of the project is. It cannot be a project without an indefinite, without a deadline, let's say. It must be more or less, we would like to do this starting from next year or the next 6 months, for 3 years, for 2 years. I mean, some idea. You don't need to have all the details. And if you don't, we get back to you to point you in the right direction, of course, as I mentioned. But in terms of being solution-oriented or not all the projects need to be, for instance, revenue generating. Not all the projects need to be producing, ending with an application or with a product. But they need to end with impacts that can demonstrate that the project has contributed to achieve climate neutrality. So there are several indicators suggested in the application form. You will see the standard ones depending on the typology of projects. And then there is always at the end other. So if you have another indicator that you don't find there, you see again how we try to be inclusive, you can add it, and then we will see if and how it works, because it's not that we know we cannot think of everything, and it's always good to be open, to what comes from the bottom up, which is also the spirit. I think this answers your question, and I encourage you to consider, and also everyone to share the information about this. It's not, I mean, it's very good if you can also disseminate this information through your own networks, so that more can also using the help desk ask questions, not only on this presentation but in general on the Smart Cities Marketplace, and then we basically liaise you with the relevant, competent colleague of mine, Gabby and Luisa, who are here with us today, to get you as quickly as possible the answers you need. You may also come with a proposal, like I don't know exactly how I shall do this, or I've done this is where I come from, and I'm not sure, how to proceed. A lot of the information is already obviously in the guidance document, but then if you have additional questions, you are very welcome to ask. Is there anyone else that would like to ask questions or comment? I think I gave the floor to all of you already, but so I will just, before closing, share again my presentation so I can give you, which you will receive, as I said, shortly. Sorry for sharing my, okay, here is what I wanted to show you. Just this. So you see basically on the web, we are with the website in the Europa portal. We have a newsletter. You are very welcome to register to our newsletter. We are also on X, Twitter, on LinkedIn, on YouTube. You find videos of our events, recent and less recent. And we also have a very new service, the podcasts, where you can find basically from people having worked or working in the initiative or as a beneficiary, how it is. And this can also be quite inspiring. Again, my request and invitation to you is also that you share it with your colleagues, with your friends, with your networks. It is very appreciated. So without then any further ado, I thank you all for your participation and for your questions. And I wish you a very good rest of the day. Have a nice day. Bye.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thanks.
Thank you
Have a
for sharing.
nice day. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.